Hey everybody, it is Kneecap here, and in this video I am happy to announce that I finally have received a beta invite for Shadowlands. It appears my entire guild got invited tonight, which would mean that they probably needed even more raiders than their first wave of raiding invites. Otherwise, I don't think it would be like literally my entire guild who got invited. I mentioned this before, or on maybe on the This Week in WoW video. I thought it was like kind of Hall of Fame era cutting edge people that got invited, so I think they just kind of extended that out to, basically all cutting edge players, and it would appear, at least along those lines is what they did. So I'm very happy about that. I don't have any like specific guide or specific topic for this video. This is mostly just to say, hey, I have beta now, so the videos are probably going to be very beta centered going forward. I logged on. I created just a level 60 at first. I am going to play through the leveling and everything, experience that, the new leveling stuff, and I'll have videos on that as well. It won't be all endgame stuff. But I started with a level 60 Paladin, Draenei Paladin, because I seen other Lightforged, so you can have Lightforged, but I couldn't figure out how to get to the allied races on the creation screen if you can. So, but I made just a Draenei Paladin, and I ran a dungeon. You choose your covenant first thing, at least in the beta when you start at level 60. Choose your covenant, then do your soulbind, and then go ahead and you can go do dungeons, whatever you want to do from that point. So I went ahead and did Kyrian. I talked about this on my channel already. I was planning on playing Kyrian. Your very first soulbind is Pelagos, which would be the one that I think fits Retribution the best out of the Kyrian soulbinds. And I was very happy. I'll get into this on a specific video about how the conduits work, but basically, at least for Ret, it works pretty well. I had expressed some concern about pure DPS classes, rogues, warlocks, mages, etc., where all three specs are DPS, but even some of that was quelled a little bit. And basically, without getting into it all in this video, it's basically because you can only use one of each conduit per soulbind. So you can't, or at least per soulbind path. So you can't stack the same trait, which I was under the impression you could, in which case that would make things really awkward when you have like these different specs, especially. But it makes things a lot less awkward, and it felt more like filling out my Legion artifact weapon than it did having all these min-max choices. It just felt like I was just filling in my Legion artifact weapon, and I had to leave one trait out. For my example, I had to leave one trait out, and it wasn't that hard of a decision to make for me, honestly. So hopefully it's that way for everybody by the time they get to the end here, but I'll get into that more on a specific video centered around the soulbinds and conduits. So I was actually very pleased with that, so that was a good starter. So I chose my covenant. The covenant ability I actually kind of like. For Ret, it's a AoE judgment, so this is really good for cleave or AoE, because when you're judging all the targets, so they all take the additional holy damage. So AoE judge, you get multiple holy power from it. I think it's based on how many targets it hits. It can hit up to 5, so I think it can max your holy power basically. And so you just use this ability and then do a very strong Imperium power, for example. So or I can't even remember, Divine Tempest, whatever. I can't even remember the Paladin AoE spell that I use every single day. Imperium Power, of course, is the trait and now talent, Azerite trait and now talent that is in the game, but it's your Ret Paladin AoE. So and then I ran a dungeon. The AoE felt really good. The single target didn't feel great, but you only started, or at least Ret Paladin only started at 7% haste. So the haste is really low, so it's not going to feel great. So that was understandable, and I wasn't running Crusade. Crusade might have helped in that case because my haste is so low. It would have artificially raised my haste. But I wanted to run the one that basically has Light's Decree on it. And it also reduces the cooldown. So it has like a little bit of Light's Decree and a little bit of Vision of Perfection, which are like the best things on BFA. So I just went with that because two of the best things on BFA combined into a talent can't be that bad, you would think. So I definitely had I had a good time for like the hour and a half I played. I'll have a ton of beta videos going forward. They will be Ret Paladin focused. They will be kind of how soulbinds work, how conduits work, how like the end game things work. And then I'll also have like leveling stuff and leveling experience, leveling from the beginning, leveling from 50 to 60, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of content I'll be focusing on. Of course, this doesn't give me any more actual time to play than I currently have, but it'll just take the time that I've been putting in on retail and just moving that to beta, except for rating, trying to get the Zoth mount. So other than that, I'll probably just be playing on beta. So just want to put a video out there. First of all, just because I'm excited about it. Very pumped about it. So anybody who watches my channel at all is probably pretty pumped for me. I'm pumped for all my guildies, pumped for myself, anybody who wanted to play and now got invited. So they extended the invites. And don't worry if you're not invited, because they still will have to do a major wave of invites that has nothing to do with rating. You'll just be, they want as many people in the world as possible leveling, experiencing all the possible bugs, and that'll happen. That's when I got invited for BFA, for example, was at that stage when they did like a really big wave of invites is when I got invited to BFA. So hold out hope for that, and it could still come for you then. And yeah, hope anybody who wants it gets it, honestly, because there's some people who get it that don't really want it, and I hope everybody who really wants it will get it. Please subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, because that helps me out an absolute ton. And other than that, everybody have a good one.